Welcome, TalkBack Live. It's time for a new week in the adventures of TalkBack in Aiken, South Carolina. And we're glad that you're along for the ride. We're going to have a lot of fun this week. The fair's in town. The fair is in town, and we're going to have fun with that. Starting today, we're going to have a Ferris wheel right here in the studio. It'll be fun. Or a roller coaster ride, or something like that. And here to enjoy the ride with me is Brian Hand from down the hall. Welcome.
Welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. Why are you here?
I'm just mad that I missed Pro Bowl Rodeo. Kenny Thomas special rodeo last week. I didn't get that part of the fair. I haven't been out of town, but I'm sure it was great, and the USA Baseball did a great job with that as always.
I'm sure that it was. Sorry we didn't get to talk too much about that last week, but I'm sure they had a good time and a good crowd along the way. But why are you here?
It's my day off. Why wouldn't I be here?
Because it's your day off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, too much to do. There's always something going on with Gamecock athletics.
Yes, that I can vouch for. So you've recovered from the weekend?
It was a brutal weekend, from going from Birmingham to here to getting the paper ready and doing everything. But we made it happen as always.
As always, it came off very well. It's going to be another wonderful production that all of you can look forward to. We're talking about Spurs and Feathers. Brian's the executive editor. I am the contributing editor.
The most important person is what this is what your real title should be.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, the most interesting man in the world. That's what it means.
Yes, well, that I'll take that title. That'll be fine with me in the overall scheme of things. But we both have survived the fact that Gamecocks lost.
Yeah, I've gotten over that part, and that's what I'm saying. That was so far in the back of my mind I wouldn't even really think about it because I'm just pretending it didn't happen.
Oh, well, I used to be good at that until I got involved in something called Spurs and Feathers.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then it becomes interesting and along the way of all the various sundry things that happen. But at any rate, we can maybe talk about that a little bit more. And the Tigers lost, and Georgia lost. And
it was Black Saturday for sure, wasn't it?
It was like all of them just falling by the wayside.
6 of the top 11 in the AP poll last week lost, if you include the Gamecocks. So that's, it was a prime opportunity for South Carolina, but they're still in it. They still have a chance to win the SEC. So they can't win the national championship anymore. That's kind of gone by the wayside, but the East is still winnable.
Yes, and the Tigers still in the top 10. They're at number 9. We went down to number 20.
Same thing for the Tigers. They probably, particularly, can't even win their division in the ACC, and then definitely can't win the national championship if Florida State keeps playing the way they can play. Florida State looks good. And they were rightfully so number 2 in the BCS standings yesterday.
Yeah, they were very, very impressive.
Yeah.
And, of course, Maryland would vouch for that.
Yeah, 63-0 after beating West Virginia 37-0 the week before. And I bought into it. I really thought that Maryland would give them a game. But as we saw just yesterday, 2 days ago with Clemson, Florida State's pretty good.
Yeah, I certainly didn't expect that. I know that none of our Clemson friends expected it either. But what are you going to do? They're just...
No, you just take off your hat and give it to them and say, hey, you're better.
I was thinking about it. It's probably better than what we experienced in terms of the field goal being kicked with no time left on the clock.
Yeah, that was
awful in terms of our feelings. And it was an unusual weekend in that you and I actually could take the time and watch Clemson and Florida State play, which usually doesn't happen.
No.
That we get to actually see the game. We just get to see highlights and various things such as that. So... it was something I was looking forward to, just like maybe it's different than what a Clemson fan would be looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking forward to a good game. I mean, I can't say I got to watch all of it because I was in here putting together the paper till late at night, but it was on in the background and I was listening to it. And I think I was just rooting for a good game. And I had thought all week that Florida State, based off of that Maryland game, pretty much was better. But I thought it would be like 38-35, something like that. I was pretty off.
Yeah, it was. But the opportunity that presents South Carolina now at this point, Clemson actually should run the table up to South Carolina. So South Carolina's part, they get the number 5 team in the BCS and in the AP poll. That's a heck of an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. As it says on the front of our paper, the Show Me State means it this week. I mean, you got to go in there. The Gamecocks have the chance to go in there and make a statement and say, all right, we can't win the national championship, but you know what? We can win the East. Let's go in there and get to a BCS game. Do whatever we got to do, because anything can happen.
Sure. If we're getting better every week, like we talked about last week, this week kind of took a step back. Though you tip your hat to Tennessee.
No, Tennessee had a great game plan.
But from a standpoint of going forward, these teams can still finish really strong and get into BCS bowls.
Oh yeah.
By winning their conferences, if they can get to that point. You say Clemson. Clemson's going to be tough because Florida State's going to have to lose and lose twice.
And no matter what happens, the voters are always going to remember 52-14 in the back of their head. So Clemson getting to that number 2 spot.
Yeah, but if they get to number 1, if they can somehow get to Florida State, get into the ACC tournament or championship game and win that and go on.
I agree with that, but they'd have
just like we can go to the Sugar Bowl.
You have to
South
hope,
Carolina.
You just have to hope that that Florida State loses, and I don't see that.
But we didn't see Georgia lose.
Oh yeah.
Georgia's not going to lose. For goodness sakes, well now they've lost twice. They may lose 3-4 times.
I think
things have gone bad for Georgia and the injuries.
I think Georgia has a good chance to lose to Florida, and I think they have a great chance to lose to Auburn.
Absolutely. After watching Auburn beat Texas A&M.
What a great weekend for Auburn. You took out Texas A&M, watched the last 5 minutes of that game. That was amazing. And then they had a Auburn car win Talladega yesterday. I mean, what a weekend.
If I cared anything about all of that, that would be. But I noticed Charles Bloom was.
Well, and I just happened to be, being in Birmingham and driving through there. Talladega is right there. On Wednesday, when we first went to SEC Basketball Media Days, there were probably already 10,000 RVs out there. When we came back on Friday, we actually had to sit through traffic to get through there because there were probably already 50,000 RVs there. And I'm not joking.
Oh, I know.
And it was unbelievable to see.
Well, think about it. Tennessee is going to play Virginia Tech. At
Bristol.
At Bristol, where it holds 150,000 people.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's really cool. That I thought that was gonna take Tennessee's timing away from us, but they seemed to, because they focused on that a lot earlier in the week. But credit to them for putting it together, and particularly the coaches, especially Butch Jones, who had to go to the press conference and do all this stuff, and being able to turn it into beating South Carolina. Quite a win.
Well, I can't imagine that the players being distracted by that. That'd be.
No, but I meant the coaches themselves, the first couple days of the week.
Well, even then, I don't see where they would be too terribly distracted by something's going to happen. Is it next year?
Yeah, next year. I just meant they didn't even have their weekly press conference because they had press conferences about that earlier in the week. So.
They made a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As they should.
And again, I don't keep up with NASCAR. I know that Danica Patrick didn't finish yesterday, and she blamed her team.
I don't even know that. I know that an Auburn car won. I don't know that Dale Jr. was winning a lot, and he's a Gamecock fan. So
I just know it because Imus brought it up on the show this morning of the fact of where did Danica finish. I overheard him talking about that.
Oh, well, I'm glad you got to hear that.
And her boyfriend finished third.
I don't even know who her boyfriend is.
Ricky, somebody.
I thought she was married. Yeah, I guess she got divorced. No. Well, she was before.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To her manager before. I remember reading that, her manager boyfriend, her manager husband, but I guess that's not anymore. I don't know. I guess we don't know enough about NASCAR to answer these questions. We probably should change the subject.
She didn't invite me to the wedding. Speaking of weddings.
Weddings, yeah.
Oh, well, we've got congratulations to the Kacharskis. Mike and Katie got married on Saturday, and they will forever be associated with losing to Tennessee.
Yeah. We won't bring that up. Yeah, we probably will. But it'll probably we'll be like, hey, remember that day you got married? The Tennessee won?
And that's why Tennessee won, because he was getting married.
Instead of at the game, as he should have been.
Have you talked to him?
I've talked to him via email. They said he had a lovely weekend. Said it was great. We told him not to touch base with us during the weekend and just enjoy it. You only get married once, so take advantage of it.
If everything goes right, if you're lucky, that's all you really need to do.
Well, I go into it saying you only get married once.
How I tell the bride and grooms that I work with for wedding receptions so God willing, this will be the only time you have to do this. So let's make it a good one.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they got married in Hopeland Gardens. Beautiful Hopeland Gardens.
Beautiful. The day was very nice.
The day was great, and you couldn't have asked for anything better, except for a win over Tennessee.
Yes, that would
That would have made it that would have made it perfect.
would have made it better for us.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it would have made it better for Mike too, because he knew in the back of his head that that's the way we were all going to think about it.
of how could you go get married and
yeah.
they're just amazing. But just the way that it is. But congratulations, I'm sure Katie was a beautiful bride.
Oh yeah, I saw her picture in the paper yesterday.
Yep.
It was very nice, and it was great.
Yes, we got Cindy just oohing and on.
Because brides are lovely. It's a beautiful thing.
Ooh, that sun's bright
Yeah.
coming through that window. Am I angelic as to where we go?
I don't think that's a word that describes you. I think you got to go higher.
No. Brandy.
You too.
Brandy last week looked angelic.
And I guess I just look sloppy.
You look. You look like you just came in on your day off.
Yeah, it's exactly what I look like.
Wearing your Texans shirt.
Hey, like I said earlier,
Go
a
Texans.
Gamecock owns the Texans, so I'm supporting the brand.
There we go.
Bob McNair, of course. I've been to a couple games at Reliance Stadium.
Well, you lived in Dallas.
Yeah, I lived in Dallas. My aunt still lives in Houston, actually, and I've been to a couple games at Reliance Stadium. Just a great, I think it might even change its names now, but just a beautiful facility.
Oh, yeah, well, I wouldn't know a thing about that. Falcons won yesterday.
The Falcons
so
did
at
win
least
yesterday.
something
Cowboys won yesterday. That's all that matters. And the Panthers, I think, even won yesterday. So.
Yes, they did. That is correct.
And I know they did. I was just adding that in. But yeah, I think it was a good day.
Neither one of us care, but that's...
No, well, no, I do care. I care when the Cowboys.
But somebody watching may say, well, what about the Panthers? Okay, they won too.
Yep. And we're gonna have a World Series this week.
Yeah, that is true, and that's going to be interesting. St. Louis and the Red Sox.
Yeah, you talk about old school baseball. I mean, Major League Baseball's got to be loving it.
Got to be. I think they would have preferred to have the Red Sox and the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course
have
they
the West
would.
Coast, East Coast type thing.
Oh yeah, just from rating standpoints, but there's still going to be a lot of people that care about this. Just if you like baseball, it might not get better than the Red Sox and the Cardinals.
And it is the World Series. Always something that even when I was a little kid, it didn't matter. I can remember Bob Gibson pitching against Detroit. Detroit had gotten in. That would be a trip down memory lane because Denny McClain, Mickey Lolich pitched against the Cardinals, and the Tigers won that World Series, if I remember. Joe Torre was playing for St. Louis.
Sounds right.
Yep.
That does sound right. I was minus 20 or something,
Bob-
but it
he
does
was
sound
He
right.
was the catcher, and Bob Gibson
Yeah.
was the pitcher.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was-
1969. I was 9 years old.
I was minus 11, yes. But
You were not born.
I was not even a gleam in the
So I
eye
don't
at that
guess-
point in time.
I don't guess you watched that one. did you?
No, I didn't. I know which one you're talking about. I mean, because I'm such a historian that I can talk about it.
Brian and I get to hang out together so much. I can't tell you how many times on anything across the board I'll ask him and then go, "Were you even born yet?"
But a lot of times I can give you the answer.
Yeah, and that is impressive. We were talking about something that happened in 1979, and he knew a little bit about it, but
I knew the answer, and you were like, "Were you born?" Nope, but I could tell you about it.
okay. Well, it's time to take a break. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, who knows? Brian may still be here. We're going to have to wait and see what's going on next in the green room. We'll go to the green room, see if there's somebody else in the bullpen when we come back on Talk Back Live.